What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today I want to talk about some pointless Keyforge cards. You see, Keyforge is a very fun, very weird game. You know I'm a fan of Keyforge, I think I've made that pretty clear. But the decks are generated using an algorithm. What that means is that you will get 36 cards, 12 each from 3 houses, and sometimes you're going to get really good combos, and sometimes you're going to get really bad combos. I want to talk about some of the bad combos. I want to talk about cards that pop up in decks, and you just go, why? Now this all came about because I opened a deck, He Who Appraises a Pair. One of my very favourite deck names because it's about a dude looking at a pair. It's kind of fun. And in that, I got Kompsos Haruspex. And a very nice creature, a rare creature, that reads each friendly creature's play effect is a play/reap effect. So if we were to take something like Ronnie Wristclocks, for instance, a very nice card, when you play Ronnie Wristclocks, you get to steal an amber, but if your opponent has got 7 or more, you actually get to steal 2. One of the better cards in the game, I would say. But you play it and then it doesn't do very much, but then of course, you're alright here, because now it becomes a reap effect, and every time you reap, you get to steal an amber, or if your opponent's got 7 or more, 2 amber. Now bearing in mind, if they are reap effects, it means that you are reaping and gaining an amber at the same time as doing this cool stuff. It's a very fun card. But when I first looked through my deck, I didn't see any play abilities, which made me think that something like Kompsos Haruspex, I'm like, well, what's the point? Now, full disclosure, I've taken another look at the deck list. There are actually 2 in there. There is a Ganger Chieftain. When you play, you may ready and fight with a neighbouring creature. So now when you reap, you may ready and fight with a neighbouring creature. And we've also got 1 copy in here of Tricerian Legionary, which is actually really good, because when you play, you ward a friendly creature. Well, now when you reap, you ward a friendly creature. It's a 5 power, 1 armor creature. It's better for fighting a lot of the time than reaping, but that's not the point. It's got a good skill. But a deck out there that didn't have these, but did have Kompsos Haruspex, you'd be looking at a card which is basically, it's one of your rares, right? And rare cards, it might shock you, are quite rare. Although, interestingly enough, this deck has got 7 rares. It's one of the highest amount of rares I've got. I love the name, I love the amount of rares, I love that it's got the Saurian Republic and the Grand Star Alliance. It's not one of my favourite decks I've got. Plus it's got Brobnar, and I don't like Brobnar. But my point here is, that would be a very pointless card in a deck with no play skills. So I gave a little bit of a shout out over on Facebook, and I asked if anyone else had any examples that they would like to share. Shameless, I know. But I do like to be sharing stories of people other than just myself when I'm making lovely videos like these. At least I think they're lovely videos. So one example somebody gave was a deck that has Carlo Phantom and 0 artifacts. Now, I must confess, I have also actually seen decks along these lines. It's not the rarest thing ever. I believe that your average deck has like 2 artifacts in, so it's really not outside the realm of possibility that you would get a deck with no artifacts. But the thing is that Carlo Phantom is a 1 power, 0 armor creature with elusive and skirmish, and each time you play an artifact, you steal an amber. So Carlo Phantom in a deck with, say, 6 artifacts, you could continually play the artifacts, be stealing amber, gives you really good amber control. Without any artifacts, now don't get me wrong here, you still have a 1 power creature with elusive and skirmish. Now that's not great, but skirmish means you take no damage back when you fight. So if, for instance, you came across a Restring Guntis, which is a very good card, you could take it down without going down instead. You've got elusive, your opponent needs to attack you twice in order to take you down, so that means that you can sit there and maybe reap for a couple of turns. It's not completely and utterly useless as a card. You've still got elusive and skirmish, and as a side note, right, there are very few cards that have both elusive and skirmish. There are a few out there, but they are few and far between. Kindred Longshot would be one of the other very rare examples. 3 power, 0 armor, and when you reap, you deal 2 damage to a creature. So don't get me wrong, Carlo Phantom does not turn into Kindred Longshot, but it's still got Elusive and Skirmish. But it certainly very much defeats the point of the card. And remember, the conceit of this video was pointless Keyforge cards. So if we can defeat the point of the card, even if there's still a potential upside to them, we can happily call them pointless cards. Cool. Now, one particularly harsh example that was given over on Facebook was James David Romo, who names the deck Koji Vage the Sorcerer Smith Artist, has both Mother Northelle and Equalize. Now, Mother Northelle, as it happens, is a rare, and again, it's always worse when you get these cards as a rare. 2 power, 0 armor creature with Elusive, good start, and when you reap, you may move 1 damage from a friendly creature to your pool. So anytime you've captured Amber, or I suppose nowadays Exalted, you get to capture the Amber and then move it to your pool. Now, generally speaking, you capture an Amber, you take it from your opponent's pool, and you put it onto your creature. But then when your opponent takes down the creature, they get the Amber back. Mother Northelle is really nice because you capture the Amber, then you move it to your pool, and actually you keep it. You keep the Amber. So it turns into more stealing. That's really nice. But the deck also has a copy of Equalize. When you play it, you get to redistribute the Amber on friendly creatures among friendly creatures, and then the Amber on enemy creatures among enemy creatures. So basically, you just get to move around all the Amber on your creatures, and then all the Amber on your opponents. This sounds like a really great 2-card combo. What could possibly be missing? Yeah, ways to capture Amber. Now, either of these cards without a way to capture Amber becomes significantly worse. Now, to be fair, this deck does play a single copy of Take Hostages. For the remainder of the turn, each time a friendly creature fights, it captures an Amber. But that's not going to go all that well. This isn't necessarily a fail because Take Hostages is a bad combo with them. It goes down as a fail because you've got 2 cards that are really good in a capture-heavy deck, with 1 card that can capture Amber, and even then it's entirely situational. You've got to be able to fight a lot on that turn, and you're just not always going to be able to do so. Yeah, not ideal, ladies and gentlemen. Not ideal. Now, one that I have heard about, which I know has come up in a bunch of different decks, is Sacrificial Altar. It is an artifact with an action: purge a friendly human creature from play. If you do, play a creature from your discard pile. Yeah, this has popped up more than once with no humans. Oh. Yeah, that's not ideal, ladies and gentlemen. The entire point of Sacrificial Altar is you sacrifice all of your human creatures so that you can replay creatures from your discard pile. Maybe things like Restringuntis or Ember Imp, for instance. You know, really good disc creatures. Although, to be fair, it does say play a creature from your discard pile, so there's house cheating in there as well. That is to say, you can use creatures from houses which is not your active house. It seems so good and it seems like so much fun. But without human creatures, what's the point? Now, of course, I have also heard of a deck which has this, where the only human creature is Bad Penny. And that's almost kind of worse here. Remember, the hook of Bad Penny is that you get to put her into your hand when she's destroyed. But if you purge it, yeah, that means she's gone away forever. Which means all of the fun you could have reusing her over and over again is not fun you're ever going to have, but because she's been purged. Sacrificial Altar is absolutely rife for coming along in a deck with very few humans, which turns into a bad deck. So to recap then, Kompsos Haruspex. If you've got no play abilities, it's pretty much a pointless card. Carlo Phantom with no artifacts, kinda pointless. Mother Northell and Equalize with no capturing. Not good. Although to be fair, Equalize does allow you to move the amber on enemy creatures around, which does give you the opportunity of, say, moving all the amber onto a weak creature and then immediately knocking it out to get all that amber back. So this could still be a really good card, and it does have an amber bonus as well. With that, it really was a combo of the pair of them in a deck with very little capturing. And Sacrificial Altar in a deck with no humans is not going to be a particularly good card. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Those are some pointless Keyforge cards. And like the worst Mavericks we looked at the other day, don't worry, we'll do best Mavericks as well. It's the kind of thing that we could turn into a little bit of a series and go through on a semi-regular basis, if that's the kind of thing you might be interested in. So 2 things I ask from you, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, let me know if this is the kind of video you'd like to see come back around again. And secondly, give me your examples, preferably linked to real specific decks, of creatures or any Keyforge cards that came along in a deck that just did not work. Go nuts in the comment section, but please do remember the rule. Be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me over on Twitter, @TheWossy, where you can hear my ramblings about Keyforge and a whole bunch of other games. And do please consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some weekly bonus podcasts, and all kinds of fun stuff. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.